Good afternoon, everyone. Today, with it being Veterans Day, I wanted to say thank you to all of our veterans, past and present, and their families for all their efforts, for their service and their sacrifice to make our nation what it is. Now, today we're going to be discussing a little bit of the background of Veterans Day. It goes back to 99 years ago at this time. War had raged in Europe for 4 years and had claimed on paper over 16 million lives, but the death toll and the casualties were much higher. And they were starving at this point, and they were quite frankly misled into believing that they'd be treated humanely if they ended the fighting. And what happened was they met in a railway car with the British and French in France, and there they signed the Armistice to officially end the fighting, to have the ceasefire of the First World War, and it was to go into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. And that was not going to be the treaty that ended the First World War. That would take place several months later on June 28th, 1919. But we'll be discussing that in an entirely different segment of this. And now what happened is a year later, in 1919, President Wilson made that day to be Armistice Day. That'd be a day that was primarily noted for honoring the veterans of World War I and their sacrifices. And in 1938, it became an official holiday, Armistice Day. And in 1954, after the Korean War, the Congress decided to make it an official holiday, changing from Armistice Day to Veterans Day, honoring all the veterans of all previous American wars. And it went into effect in 1954. What happened is that in 1920s they made the Tomb of the Unknown, where they have the remnants of a World War I soldier, and at 11 o'clock on the 11th of November they have representatives of all of the armed services performing a ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown to commemorate all the soldiers who fought in the war, and especially the ones who did not come home as well. So those are some of the things that happened in our history today. Hats off to our soldiers and their families for everything they've done and everything they still do. This American supports you. Thank you.